Holy crap, LaureledEevees, you actually did something! Why, thank you! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pesterquest. Let's check out the chum roll and see what we've got going for us today. We've befriended Gamzee with the miracle worker. We maybe got a little bit too much because we kind of broke the fourth wall, you know what I'm saying? We also went over to Vriska's side of things and totally threw her mom into a volcano. Probably the best thing overall, and we got the 2 hidden endings, no doubles, and weenie. Which, if you were not a fan going into this, you probably had no idea how to find those endings unless you watched someone else's playthrough, because there was like nothing on the internet. I could find nothing to help me. Anyway, today, if you saw in the chum roll, today we're working with Equius and Terezi. So this will be interesting. Let's get this going. I'm excited. Okay. Begin the friendship process. Volume 7, Route 1. Let's go, Equius, you weirdo. It's a clear, cool night, and you've wandered around trying to decide whose hives you should crash at before the sun comes up. It's nice having so many options for places to stay. You've cultivated a decent community for yourself, and there's an ember of pride in your belly about it. Still, you find yourself feeling a little aimless. The last couple friends you made were pretty intense. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're vibing at a chiller frequency right now. There's still a while until it gets dangerously light out, so you sort of pop around, seeing what feels right. We wind up back in that forest area. Oh my gosh, what the heck was that? I guess we were hopping back and forth between games, not timelines, just games in general. Anyway, it's kind of fun to test out the boundaries of your powers. You've used it to find friends, but you're really not sure how far it goes. You think tree, and you don't know how your magic brain decided which one to choose, but heck if you aren't sitting on an extremely high branch a second later. You try it again with whatever concept comes to mind. You tried again at whatever concept comes to mind. Garden. Oh gosh. We're still thinking about Boulder. Do we remember that? Does our character remember that from the last act? Do they be like, aren't they like, what just happened? We saw Boulder. You try it again, whatever concept name comes to mind. Garden, cave, mall, and it all works. You don't remember ever having been to any of those specific places, but you feel a strange, prickly affinity for them each time your feet touch the ground. Those are all pretty generic locational nouns, though. You wonder if it works for things that are more abstract. Quickly, you think you can talk yourself... Okay, quickly before you can talk yourself out of the before you talk yourself out of the naivete of it, you think home. Interesting. It still takes you a minute to open your eyes, even after you feel your guts all back in the right place, because what if you wake up in a room that feels like yours? Or worse, and indefinitely more likely, what if you don't? You breathe in deep and immediately cough you breathe in deep and immediately cough wretchedly. Oh hey, we're back up here! You open your watery eyes, clinging to the hope that maybe you can come from a land of dusty comforts, where you can always just breathe in layers of dust and it's fine. It's not fine. You landed inside one of the spindliest, most precarious hunks of metal that's ever been bolted into the side of a cliff. It looks like some ancient outpost, not homey at all. Of course that wouldn't work. It was stupid to try. Defeat is bitter in your mouth. There's a twisty part of you that wants to curl up on a particular piece of floor and take a nap. You can't work out how much of that urge is just you wanting to give in. So just in case, you don't surrender to it. Maybe you'll come back another time and sift through all the stuff on the shelves, but for now you're not sure how structurally sound this thing is, and you can't take any more disappointment. Man, it makes me feel kind of sad hearing all this. Oh gosh. So, you try one more time to pop somewhere you haven't been before. What was that one guy? What was that one guy's name that Gamzee mentioned? Oh yeah, Equius. Maybe he's chill. You think his name and zap away, imagining yourself leaving an edgy, despondent swirl of dust in your wake. Oh geez, he's ready to punch. Oh gosh, this one. Yeah. I can't remember the title of this one, but I know this is from the universe, like, of Colors and Mayhem, Universe A, and it's Equius's theme. I'll figure it out later. But it looks like he's mid-punch, like he's gonna sock us in the face. Your magical zap calibration maybe isn't as off as you thought, because you pop in on Equius as close as it is possible to get to the dude without landing directly on top of him. The astonishing unchillness of the situation is immediately apparent. He's mid-jump, mid-yell, mid-sweat, and mid-swing on an outlandishly beefy... Okay. He's mid-jump, mid-yell, mid-sweat, and mid-swing of an outlandishly beefy arm down towards you. You freeze frame like an anime protagonist analyzing their choices mid-battle. In your drawn-out split second of an observational window, you realize he's not aiming at you, but in the direction of whatever noise, whirring thing you happen to plop in front of. Hell? As soon as he sees you, his eyebrows shoot up above his busted sunglasses and his yell strangles itself into a panic. His arm shudders as though he's trying and failing to alter its glorious faceward trajectory. You really do not want to get your face punched off your head, so you scream and zap just outside the high-arched door on the far end of the room. Equius's hive, why? You hear a deep, meaty thunk, followed by a groan and a sharp metallic crunch. The whirring stops. Oh my gosh, is he dead? Is the other thing dead? You should go and check. Should you check on him? You skitter away from the door and back to it, unsure what to do. Oh gosh. Okay, now I am pretty sure, for a fact, I have never done an Equius voice. So this will be interesting. Okay. Think deep inside. Think of all the anatomy, like, people have done over the years in art school just to put them on horses. Okay. Was that... No, it can't have been. Hello? Show yourself this instant. Ah, screw me. He does not sound happy. His words are a little garbled too, like some teeth just got knocked out by whoever's butt he was just kicking. You weigh your options. Chicken out or be brave. I'm guessing being brave is the option we want to go for here. So let's try it. No. Oh, no. Oh, man. You know, the Gamzee seal of approval is maybe not the most credible, but this guy might be an okay dude. And it would definitely be your fault if he was hurting there. You should at least check on him. Explain or something. You can zap away if it comes down to it. There you are. You do the polite thing this time and knock. He opens the door fast, like he was just on the other side of it. You both jump. I like how we're both just kind of skittish about this whole thing. Jeez. And Equius's tank top is just a freaking rectangle. Gosh. Okay, he collects himself and glares at you, arms crossed against his heaving chest. Rivets of blood and sweat run together and pool in a divot above his weird alien clavicle, and a low, menacing sound rumbles through him. You can feel it in your teeth. Holy crap, he's terrifying. Explain yourself immediately. You think you might crap your pants on the spot, but he gives you a quick up and down and rearranges his expression into a sort of forced smile. It doesn't really feel any more welcoming, what with the blood dripping down his chin, but the fact that he's trying is maybe a good sign? You hold in your fear, just in case. Or perhaps come in and take a seat? He steps aside to beckon you through the door, then sort of freezes. Unless you should be the one instructing me, in which case it would behoove you to make that promptly apparent. Oh, he wants us to dominate him right now. I cannot work out how exactly to address you when you don't wear a caste symbol and you look like that. Am I not wearing the hoodie anymore? Dang it, I forgot where we lost that. Is it still in Dave's shower? Maybe. No, I think we were wearing it. That's right, we wore it to Carcat's place and somehow we lost it. Okay. Which I am either very sorry for or quite cross about, depending where the truth lies. Either way, I'm beginning to perspire about it. So out with it right now. Man, he is really struggling. The anger you felt radiating off of him before is still there, but that doesn't seem to be all that's driving him. It's like there are two compelling forces inside him, one that wants to yell at you and one who wants to get yelled at by you. You might conceptualize these forces as fierce animals, warring in a glorious and unwavering balance. Horses, perhaps. Anyway, you'll workshop that metaphor later. You tell him that you know you look weird, but you promise you're cool. You know a friend of his. At the mention of Gamzee, the corner of his lip curls up into something complicated. So you change course real fast, just in case. And Carcat. Does he know Carcat? What a guy. He eyes you warily, or you think he probably does? With his eyes hidden behind his shades, you can't be sure, but he's being very still. Sweat and blood are still just running down his face, and he's not even acknowledging it. You laugh nervously. You both continue to stand there, waiting for the other to make a move. It would be super helpful if someone was assertive around here. Arthur, why? Oh gosh. Scary looking. Oh gosh. I'm seeing just a pupil in his eye is weird to me. Why? Luckily, some kind of cow centaur man, his Lucis you assume, breaks the awkward doorway stalemate by silently trotting up and handing Equius a desperately needed towel. He then offers you both some frosty glasses of milk. Something deep inside you feels a swell of warm recognition for the ritualistic moment of a friend's parent bringing you snacks. So you down that thick stuff in one go. His Lucis's mustache flutters in appreciation, and after a nod between him and Equius, he leaves as quietly as he came. I see you're an aficionado of the sweetest of nectars. This speaks to the likelihood of your nobility, which is reassuring. I may be able to overlook the circumstances of our meeting, then. If you can provide strong evidence, of course. Tell me, are you also a hoofbeast art enthusiast? He beckons you inside the room, and as you follow, you tell him that you're not really sure what that means, but probably you're a fan of a lot of... Oh... Yeah, I'm a bit disturbed by the one up at the top there. Oh, gosh. I like there's just one regular horse butt. Anyway. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's what that means? Cool. Yeah, you know, whatever. You feel like you learned once that anything can be art if it feels right. Or so art can definitely be a well-muscled horseman on the walls of this here living space. Equius rumbles in agreement and gestures towards a chair. It's one of those cool red and black gamer-themed chairs with embedded speakers. There's a lot of that kind of decorating motif here, which is a little at odds with the high ceilings and engraved doorways and general blue blood old money architecture. Yeah, there are broken bows and robot parts all over this place. Not in neat little stacks or connected to other robot parts to create whole robots. Just an absolute wasteland of obliterated robo-corpses, like they all were torn limb from limb and just scooted off towards the wall. A fair few of them are splattered in blood too. Dried, it looks almost black, but the fresh stuff on the fist of one of the pieces at your feet is bright indigo. On the other hand, it is completely a relief to see that it's all metal and not flesh body parts scattering the floor. But also, it's still, not screwed up looking. Your smile probably has too many teeth in it to seem normal, but Aqueous returns it in kind and leans what he probably thinks is casually against the edge of his desk. It creaks under his weight. Geez, he could just end you in a half a second, couldn't he? Yes? You claim we have mutual acquaintances, so demonstrate it. He nods towards the screen of his desktop where he has Trollian open. Ah, screw me. Okay, you guess you just click on someone and ask them to prove it? Seems you both know Karkat and Gamzee, and in between the two, you know who's most likely to be online and ready to pester and be pestered at all times, so you click his screen name and start typing. Okay. Hey Karkat, hope you're having a good day. Have a quick favor to ask you. Wait, what? Oh, also I missed you. What the hell? What happened to you? Where's your horrifying quirk? How am I supposed to saddle up for some truly nauseating conversation if I don't have non-veiled at all bulge references greeting me at the beginning of every one of your excruciating messages? It's funny that you say saddle. Anyway. Are you sick? Like in a new way? Oh, right, geez. You're logged in as Aqueous. Your fool butt just started typing like you had your own account for some reason. You blame it on the nerves and get to clarifying? Oh, haha, sorry. This is your new friend. After I dropped you off yesterday, I wandered around for a while, and now I'm hanging out with Aqueous. I'm using his computer. Oh. My pusher almost gave in on the spot. I don't think he trusts me. Can you vouch for me? Hold on. Let me just bask in the concept of the two of you hanging out. Thank you, Karkat. This is a mental masterpiece, a tableau of awkward splendor. I legitimately do not even know what sort of short-circuiting must be happening in his brain to try to make sense of you. Please don't tell me a single thing about it later. Okay, whew, I'm done. Is he watching? Aqueous leans over your shoulder and tucks his hair behind his ear so it doesn't get in the way of his typing. It's a bow and arrow. Any resemblance otherwise is only a pleasant coincidence. And yes, I'm watching. Okay, whatever. Listen, you milk-logged... Ooh, okay, you milk-logged chum squelcher. This little guy right here, the one you're probably dripping sweat all over, that's one of the realest friends you'll ever hope to make. Karkat, thank you. Sure, they'll send your life careening horrendously off course, but it will absolutely be worth it for the level of dedication they bring to the table. Don't even bother with the blood color horse stuff with this one, since they're the only one of their species. Just roll with it for once in your wretched life. Don't screw this one up, Zahak. They're an abomination, and they wouldn't know what a boundary was if it took up residence in their grease chute. But you two have those things in common, so in this case, it's a good thing. Karkat, being insulted at this kind of conjecture is... it's amazing. Anyway. Aqueous inhales sharply. You wonder what Karkat means by that. About Aqueous, you mean. Sure, you're an inexplicable being, neither Earthling nor Alternian, but with weird, itchy memories about having lived on both planets. But he doesn't seem out of the normal range of screwed up, considering troll standards. In fact, how about this? That is sufficient. Goodbye. He minimizes the window and steps back, somehow sweatier than he was before. He taps the towel gingerly to his forehead. You were enjoying that, weren't you? So, we have been properly introduced. Okay then, you definitely thought he was going to be more thorough than that. He does seem a little shaken up, so maybe you should be thankful the conversation just got cut short before you could really dig deep into your lore and get judgmental about it. I do not know the standard method of communication with your species. You will take the lead here, and it will surely become clear how I should proceed. Yes, that sounds extremely feasible. You will now begin the friendship process. I command it. Oh, sure, you got this. How exactly do you got this? Show off your cool powers? So, we're both freaks, huh? I'll just go with this one. I want him to punch me. You decide to just go for it, sometimes leaping into what could potentially be a super sensitive topic for someone ends up being the key ingredient in a friendship pie. You can see it now, Equius crying, thankful you are here to talk about whatever this unspeakable commonality you share is, you wiping his tears with his already pretty soaked towel. You shake yourself out of your daydream and drop this sweet loaded question right into his lap. Holy crap, you can't wait till this works. Excuse you. Speak for yourself, my standing is unblemished. Karkat is only comparing us in that way to further the ruse that he is removed from that particular category. It is a delicate social dance. Okay. You're not really sure Karkat sees it that way, but hey, whatever works for them. Anyway, you know he was just yelling a lot about something that's not a big deal, as is his manner of showing affection, but you just thought he meant like the horn thing. The horn thing. Oh crap, you're sorry. You don't know what things are and aren't callable around here, you know? It's almost like it's all entirely arbitrary and at the whims of whoever's in charge or something. You like the look, personally, but you haven't made friends with someone with a broken one before, so you're not sure how common it is. It is relatively uncommon. They are exceptionally sturdy, so it may take something very strong to break them. He looks like he might be about to tell you the story, but somehow you keep not learning the lesson where you should just chill and experience something instead of leaping in and trying to figure out before it happens. So, fueled by enthusiasm for your newest spur-of-the-moment decision, you stop listening to his lecture on troll biology and focus instead on zapping to the moment he broke his horn. Troll biology is probably super uninteresting anyway, and you'll come back there after and be able to contribute more to the conversation. What the hell? Whoa. We're just phasing in and out of existence. You pop into familiar nothingness, but instead of appearing at the point of Equius's past, you feel yourself split. It's like looking into a magic eye puzzle, but with your whole body. You try to concentrate to align the segments into a whole, but it's too late. You think for a second it might be a cool new poster, but it doesn't feel that different than before. Only just triple. It's like there's narrative precedent for this moment existing in more than one plane of truth? Unable to do anything else but sit there in space, contemplating this paradox, you watch. Oh wow, he looks a little younger, but not much. He's beating the crap out of a robot, but it's not the same as it was when you saw it before, however briefly. Then his movements had been smooth, even in their rage, like he wasn't afraid until you showed up. Here, in this erratic half-present space, his movements are erratic. He swings wildly, unthinkingly, like there's nothing left inside him but one last flicker of fury. His teeth are gritted against his tears, and he just looks so tired. You want to pull him back, to make him rest. You see him reach the same conclusion, but not at all what you meant it. He just stops. The robot does not. You feel him close his eyes. Baby grub Equius with pecs. At the same moment, you see another snapshot in time much further back. There's a little grub wobbling its way up a stalagmite in a cave. It's definitely a precarious place, but it still somehow feels safe to you. For some reason safe, but also super violent? Who knows? There's a lot going on right now. It crawls up to the top and roars a baby clicking roar, eyeing a taller cave precipice. You see his little behind wriggle as he moves to jump. Over the top of that, there's another Equius, looking about the same as he does now, plus one horn out for a stroll in the moonlight. One is about to cross the street when a majestic herd of hoofbeasts crests a faraway hill. He stops, transfixed, as the animals gallop across the plain. He does not hear the approaching scuttlebuggy. You watch all of this from your floating void standpoint, unable to stop it. The arcs of the falls align in the cosmic The arcs of their falls align in cosmic synchrony. hair fanned out like a banner of defeat. The echo of the crack the horns make as they shatter reverberates in your teeth. You yell as all three Equiuses hit their respective grounds. You can't help it. You've started to care about this guy a little bit. As the sound leaves you, all three of them turn their injured heads to look at you in unison, and you freeze. So there is no canon reason for Equius having a broken horn. There's like 3 of them. Crap, that's probably not supposed to happen, right? You were just watching, not changing anything. You barely know what you're doing. Though you can never be sure. You zap immediately back to the present, winded and dizzy. You feel deeply, suddenly corporeal, like you do when you step off a boat onto the shore, but with each atom of your body separately and all at once. Equius is standing exactly where he was when you left, totally unchanged, still yammering about anatomy. Whew, good to know nothing got screwed up in the future after you... Wait, you were there. He pauses, shaking his head to clear as his memories realign. I don't know how I didn't remember. I accepted your offer of friendship and you repay me with tomfoolery. You knew how it happened all this time, and yet you played ignorant, jockeying for position as someone in my trust, only to play me for a fool. No, see, you didn't before. It wasn't until after you went back that this became the way things went. See, the way time travel works is... Do not explain time travel to me. What do you take me for? You're still reeling a bit from seeing him so vulnerable. By varying definitions of vulnerable, you guess, but still. You know you got this information from an unfair source, but now that you have it, you don't feel right just leaving. There's more to Equius than you originally thought. You can feel the chance to learn more about him slipping away. I don't know what it is you want from me, but you will not receive it. Whatever connection you feel to him in this moment, he clearly does not return it. Ah, crap. He's starting to get angry. Sweat begins to bead at his temple. Your brain, scrambling to grasp a hold of any thought that isn't your abject friendship failure, latches onto the realization that Sweat and all, his hair somehow still looks really good. How would now be a good time to ask him about the products he... I don't think this alliance is going to work out. You will leave. I must get back to my business. Your heart sinks as he turns his back to you, pressed a button on the back of the robot's neck, and rolls his shoulders. Goodbye. Shunned. Okay, let's try that again. Actually, I think I'll start from like the first choice and see how bad that goes. Chickening. You don't know, Equius looks super strong and even more angry. You really, really do not want to be next in line to get disemboweled. If friendship with this guy is really meant to be, maybe you can reconnect with Gamzee as an intermediary. That sounds like a normal and cool time. Panic grips you as his heavy footsteps approach the door. Forgetting you have super useful zap powers specifically for use in time-sensitive panic situations, you turn and run. You glance over your shoulder as you go and collide spectacularly with a brick wall. Looking up from the brightly polished floor where you lay, inexplicably doused in milk and broken glass, you realize it wasn't a wall you hit. A glistening part pseudo-humanoid, part horse, cow, beast person? Another Lucis, maybe? You really aren't sure, but the fact that his top half almost looks like a more... Let's see. You really aren't sure, but the fact that his top half looks kind of like a more dapper you fills you with the most cursed mixture of fear and curiosity you've felt thus far. He doesn't seem bothered by you at all, only anxiously trying to get by you. You try to stand up, but you slip on the milk and eat crap just as Equius bursts through the door. They both tower over where you lay, flopping ineffectively in a burgeoning puddle of froth. Ugh, is everyone in this house just made of muscle? You've had enough of this regular strength escape attempt stuff. Bruised, humiliated, and covered in dairy, you zap on out of there. Humiliated. We bruised. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's get to the actual good ending. Show off cool powers. Great, you can do that. Making friendship happen is like one of the skills you actually have. From what you recall, you have a 100% success rate at it, too. So this budding rapport is safe in your hands. Excellent. Hugh, you weren't really sure he'd be down for this. It really seemed like he might be coming to kill you when you heard him stomping towards the door earlier. Kill you? I would never. He cuts himself off as though he didn't intend to admit that he didn't have it in him to murder you and clears his throat. At first I thought you might be Arthur, my Lucis. It's ridiculous looking back, though you do share a sort of globular, painted resemblance. How did you come to entangle yourself in my brawl only to immediately escape? Are you abnormally fast? I admit that particular method of being strong had not occurred to me, but I am intrigued. I, too, like to test the limits of physical capability. Oh, no, you can just zap places. It's kind of a strength, maybe, if you want to define a superpower that way. You show off a bit, since you know Equius likes demonstrations. You tell him about all you have to do is think about a place or a person you want to visit and pop. Oh. You pop... Let's see, you bop on the top of the pile of robot parts, then back in front of him on the floor. It's like that, except everywhere. I see. That is exceptional. He sort of just starts quaking gently when he stands. He rubs his neck with his towel, but he's not really even sweating any more than he has been already. It's just as though in his excitement he forgot to sweat and just dabbed by force of habit. Is that a thing? Why are you even noticing this? Is it possible to bring along a pillion rider? What, like zap a buddy with you? In answer, you extend an elbow for him to grab. His whole body is vibrating by this point. He reaches his hand out, but stops just before he touches you, like you might shock him. It's okay. It won't hurt, you say. His fingers twitch just above your elbow and his mouth purses in distrust. You're not sure exactly what he's worried about since you're extremely undangerous, but you let him have a moment to work through whatever he's nervous about. He takes a steady breath. It's a little unsettling to see his face relax, even briefly, into his soft, calm lines. Flipped palm up, his hand slowly cradles your forearm from below. He nods, a sharp, determined movement, and starts telling you what to do again. You will take me with you. Her name is Nepeta. Oh, he wants to see Nepeta. Of course he would. Okay. Do you require any other information, or will that suffice? That ought to do it. You haven't heard of her, but you don't think, but you feel an immediate surge of excitement about this little jaunt. It's probably mostly just the friendship thirst talking, but you can't help but feel like this is a connection that is supposed to be made, like it's something that matters. You zap away. The pleasant little cosmic slip and slide feeling when you zap around is jostled, like you got yanked off the ride with a fish hook in your guts. You land back exactly where you started. I think it's because you have void powers. We got messed up with that in the other ending, too. That did not work. Did you mislead me? No, this should work. You're not even high this time. As impressive as the strength of your power is, perhaps you need to apply more attention to the more intricate details involved. She is an olive blood, very short, shamefully unkept. This information will help. You hope so. He is starting to look pretty tense, even with the fond lilt of his voice as he talks about his messy friend. You give it another whirl, and then you feel it. That same weighty glare on the back of your neck telling you don't belong. The hell? You got zap blocked again. You will try again. Who is this T-posing mannequin? What is this weird little, blue, box supposed to be? Anyway. Each word is ground out one at a time between his clenched teeth. Blood trickles through the cracks in his bite and out of the corner of his lips. You really don't think this is gonna work, but Equius looks like he's a second away from losing his crap, so reluctantly you comply. Back again. Wait, you're... Okay, so we got the T-posing mannequin, but he's talking in a manner that sounds almost Caliborn-esque? Is this a cherub of some kind? Either that or we're gonna befriend Hussy at the end of everything. That'd be fun. Quit trying to skip ahead, it's not gonna work. As you hurtle through space-time towards Equius's floor, you start to wonder if this is just gonna be what happens now when you try to make friends. You accept this truth into your heart as your face accepts the impeding wood planks. Equius lands on his feet a little ways away from you, his hands balled into fists, bellowing with impotent rage. He's not even saying words, just unleashing an agonized, guttural wail. He punches an already dead robot torso leaning against a bookshelf. In punctuation, he kicks its decapitated head, which explodes in a shower of bolts and sparks. As the dust clears, you see him dutifully wiping himself down with a towel, breathing hard. He seems to have worked his anger out because he walks with purposeful grace, as though he learned in cotillation and sits to where you're still sort of laying on the floor. You're both silent for a beat. Equius tugs at a lock of his hair, anxiously wrapping it around his finger. His hand falls to his lap. I apologize for that display. The disappointment emotion is not my favorite. I feel better now, however. My Moira lives very far away, so our paths have never been able to cross. Whatever force blocks us seems to wield significant narrative power, so I will respect its whims as above mine in status. Oh gosh, he's aware of the narrative. Okay. For now. Huh, you know, it happens. You know it happens. You're no stranger to the ups and downs of friendship. The trick is to know when to keep trying and when to fall back, no matter how futile it feels or how alone you are. Your morale is impressive considering your circumstances. That's probably mostly a compliment. You're not really sure. Your circumstances definitely feel like they could be worse. You are very sure of yourself. How do you manage this when you are the only one of your kind? Without a society to tell you how to act or feel, how do you know if you're living the correct way? Well, dude, there's like something built down inside all of us that kind of tells us things, man. It's like a freaking conscience. How about that for business? I mean, some people have learned to quiet theirs rather indefinitely, but still. How do you know where you belong? Or if you belong? Ouch. The desire to belong is a yawning wound in your gut, one that never seems to heal. You try not to let this rip too many stitches out of it. You never feel totally secure, you say. There's always fear, always doubt, always pain, but you find people in unlikely places. Make community when and where you can. Crap, you have belongings at like 8 people's houses by now? It's not the same as having your own spot, but it's definitely something. You start off on the defensive, but you realize it's true. So really, you figure, you're still defining yourself by your relationships to other people, but that can come from a good place, not just a twisted and forced one. You get wanting to know you're doing something right, unlocking your own mentally devised set of achievements for that sweet dopamine rush, but leaning on a screwed up social system for direction and validation doesn't really help him, and it definitely isn't helping many others. You don't need to figure that out for yourself. His brows furrow, and you can almost hear a couple of the 462's rigid barriers in his brain creaking open. Okay, the 4,672 rigid barriers in his brain creaking open. It's not just other people you think. You find strength. Strength is that right? In your own self, too. You've met a lot of people and learned a lot of ways to be, but you're still working on what that means for you. No, it is not right, but I appreciate the attempt. This type of understanding does not come easy to me, but I believe I am following. In my case, I have striven to locate and retool the edge of my own ability. Physical prowess is a relatively typical indigo trait, but I am abnormally strong. I have worked to hone it in an attempt to make sense of myself and why I am like this. Reining in an aberrant trait and defining myself by it. Not too bad. He gestures at the awful robot mess, then flexes his hand. The blood has coagulated since you two started talking. He stares at it. This way of thinking may not always be a good thing, however. Certain habits are difficult to break. Though there are loopholes in every rule, I often lose track of which regulations I can actually enjoy following, and which I just do not know how to disregard. At least with this hobby, all the stakes are under my control, with no chance of others getting hurt. Unless they haphazardly zap in between your fight, looking for friendship, that is. His smile is broken and rigid as the first time, but it feels different, backed by the rough warmth of his laugh. Yes, don't do that again. Next time, you will zap at the front door, and Arthur will let you in. Next time, you think, and you smile back. Excellent victory! Oh, that was nice. A little philosophical discussion with Aqueous instead of him beating us up. Nice, nice. I like how we're still in, like, the green robe. You look like a freaking wizard. Okay, so let's take a look at that chum roll. Yep. Some habits. You helped Aqueous flex the most important muscle of all. Friendship. Okay. Let's get back in here. We got Terezi. Now, Terezi's is going to be interesting. A fair trial. Boops. It's a cool, breezy evening. Violet leaves crunch under your feet as you stroll casually through a dense and inviting forest. Not an environment you're used to on this planet, that's for sure. You should be lapping up this serenity like a thirsty dog at a zen fountain. Instead, you're brooding. So many new friends, all of them a special breed of sad. You don't like seeing sad people, so you've done everything in your power to fix them. Slumber party, matchmaking, throwing a giant spider into a volcano. The smiles your new friends greet you with are all the proof you need that you've been doing good work. And yet, you can't help but wonder how much of a difference any of this really makes. Especially on Alternia. You've gathered that even if one of these kids avoids being murdered by an insectoid eugenics robot, they'll just wind up conscripted to a lifetime of military service under our colonial empire. Which makes it really hard to believe that inducing a few bouts of revelationary catharsis will ultimately amount to much. It's a depressing thought, and you're not entirely sure what to do with it, which is why you came out here. Nothing better for the soul than a nature hike, right? Maybe after a nice long walk, you'll come out of it right as, hey, is that a treehouse? What? Ouch. Oh, here we go. Here she is. Okay, remember Terezi voice. Just go for nasal and just go for it hard. Here we go. Ouch is right, criminal. Great, more shenanigans. Nice theme. Do, 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 do. You won't lie and say the prospect of making friends with a spooky shark in glaring red shades isn't appealing, but criminal doesn't leave a great taste in your mouth. You try to move. Well, you don't, because you're tied to a chair. Strike 2 of the bad taste scorecard. Probably shouldn't stick around for strike 3. In a moment of uncharacteristic self-preservation, you close your eyes and attempt to zap away. But you can't? Your head hurts and your vision's still kind of hazy, which might imply brain damage on account of your surprised wanging. Okay. With your luck, that probably means your superpowers are permanently broken. Typical. Looking up at your captor again. Not a captor. She's a pyrope. Just kidding. You can't help thinking the specs are a bit extra. What kind of loser wears big angular sunglasses like that anyway? Sees Dirk in the background just cracking his knuckles anyway.
You'd certainly be one to judge if you had the legal authority to do so. A fashionable dress like that with blood as deliciously red as yours. The hypocrisy on you stinks like a fragrant pus.
Gross. Geez, what's up with all these aliens and their hang-ups about blood?
Hang-ups. Gallows humor is an admirable quality. But such crowd-pleasing theatrics will not spare you from the full weight of the law.
Hello, Terezi. How's it going? One of my best troll girls. Interesting sprite design. I know, like, there was, like, some drama on, like, Twitter that Aisha was mentioning. Like, some fan artists, when they saw Terezi's, like, you know, talk sprite, they, you know, they did their own art. And they made her, like, talk sprite, like, more skinny. And Aisha took exception to that. She got really angry, which I can understand in partial. It's kind of bad to, like, it sucks to, like, see, like, something you really care about, like, your own IP or whatever. I guess it is her IP now, being, like, taken out of your control and having artists do whatever, but you can't control fan artists. There's no God among fan artists. Also, I'm still wrapping my head around things from, you know, Homestuck's stuff. Like the fact that 13-year-old Terezi had a skinny talk sprite in Homestuck. I also want to validate the artistic choice of the staff for Pesterquest. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm still reeling over Terezi being taller than Vriska in Terezi Remember. And even then, it was realistic because there was like 3 years of physical growth that we missed in between the two because that Vriska was dead for all of that and didn't grow physically. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get back to this good girl here. Okay. A bizarre tableau unfolds before you. Stuffed dragons on benches, big angry monster, empty noose dangling next to the window. Looks like you've just wandered into a courtroom drama. Much to your relief, your kidnapper isn't a shark. And you have to admit the glasses do come together in an ensemble, but is instead a short, stocky troll girl in a short-sleeved turtleneck and a pair of garish red Crocs. Crocs? Turtleneck. What a weird thing. Okay. The fashion for this one is staggering, especially with the... Is that a sword with a sword cane with a dragon head?
It is, because I'm blind and cool. But make no mistake, I don't need eyes to smell how guilty you taste.
Wow, this every sentence that tumbles out of this troll... No, is every sentence that tumbles out of this troll's mouth gonna be weird and uncomfortable?
Yes. But enough from you, cherry cheeks. His honorable tyranny will only tolerate so much banter before holding you in contempt.
You might be developing some contempt yourself, if you're being honest.
Well, unless you want to be squeezed until your organs burst from your eyes, you'll take the back talk and let the prosecution get to work.
Is that what being in held contempt means? Fine. You guys should be polite and stop interrupting.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Right, now we have the preamble out of the way.
There's a ding on her computer, and her posture immediately switches from confident to frustrated.
Ugh, hold on.
She strides over to her desktop, tapping the gleaming edge of her cane in front of her as she goes. You wonder what kind of miraculous accessibility contraptions exist on this planet that a blind person can just use. Is she licking her monitor? Yes, she's licking her filthy computer monitor, just slathering it up in her teal-tinted saliva. Going at it like a husband greeting his war wife after 20 years at sea.
Why? Sorry, give me a second.
No problem, you say. Not like you're going anywhere. Okay, she's distracted. Now would be a great time to go somewhere. Your powers still seem to be on the fritz, but you think the weight of your incredible butt might shatter this chair if you could get some leverage. Wait it out or get some leverage. Let's get some leverage. You lean forward on your feet, take a deep breath, then hop backwards as hard as you can. It worked. You stumble up out of your broken chair as your captor turns around towards you.
What the hell?
As you try to run, the rope still around your legs okay. The rope still wrapped around your legs has other plans as you trip, try to catch your weight and fail, and sort of just let the momentum of your vaudevillian tumble carry you across the room. You slam into your captor and send both of you flying out the window. Oh, this is way higher up than you thought. You grab onto her and pray for dear life. Hey, you're not falling. That's a relief. You congratulate your agile friend on her quick reflexes in grabbing hold of... Oh no. You heard of hung jury, but this is ridiculous. Oh, freaking. The prosecution rests in peace. Ooh, geez, she just Claytoned herself. Okay. Let's try that again. Wait. You decide it's best to wait this out. The sword and noose are a bit worrying, but the plush toys and the chalk drawings, it strikes that this is probably the closest thing Alternia has to a tea party, which would be adorable if it weren't so depressing. Playing along seems like a prime friend-making activity. Besides, whoever got hurt in a court of law? After a few, oh gosh, is it brusque? After a few brusque keystrokes, she strolls back to her place in the center of the room.
Not a word in half a sweep, and now she won't shut up.
You ask who she's talking to. Probably Vriska.
Just some dumb, angry girl who needs to leave me alone until the heat death of the universe. Who even cares anyway? Not me. That's who. Where were we?
Crimes.
Crimes. You're here today to face the highest justice under my authority as Premier League affiliated legislator in training of His Honorable Tyranny's Court. And it is with said authority that I accuse you of the most grievous of crimes against the Empire of her imperious condescension.
Uh-oh, what crime could that possibly be? Breaking and entering? Doping with a clown? You guess she could technically nail you for accomplice to murder, but...
The crime of... existing.
What? You're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but the dang thing just seems to be stuck up there. What did she say about being in training? You're beginning to wonder if this is a... What did she call it? A slayliciter. Prosecutioner. Public dexterplist. You're beginning to wonder if this murder lawyer actually knows what the hell she's talking about.
You think I'm making this up? I do really look like the kind... Do I really look like the kind of girl who would randomly commit unprompted and unjustified murder on a whim?
Look, you've met some weird trolls on this planet, and they all seem to have a pretty laissez-faire attitude about murder, so...
No, you know what? Fine, if you're gonna be a pandectic snot-up little wriggler about it, I'll just recite the whole law verbatim. Article 5, subsection 11, paragraph 68 for the second new code of Alternian jurisprudence describes your crime as...
Hold on, pause. New codes, you say? Interesting.
Being, having been, or possess the capacity and being in need of material resource conception for the purposes of curtailing biological expiry existing, and of course abound through imperial territory, as of one unclassifiable sanguination, mutant, one of extrasolar origination, alien, or one who plans to commit, has committed, or may possess the capacity to commit high crimes and flesh demeanors against her imperial condescension, criminal. There, happy now?
Dang, this girl really knows her stuff.
Of course I do. I'm not some fly-by lunar cycle troll slaughter consultant. I'm a professional.
Clearly, how could you question her expertise on the subject of what is and is not technically a crime when there's so many books piled up haphazardly? You definitely are existing as an alien after all, and you guess that does by definition make you a criminal. And from the look of that noose, you doubt the punishment is something as quaint as being thrown into the slammer. So, is there an appeals process, or... She springs forward with surprising agility and presses her face right up against yours, sniffing you with alarming enthusiasm.
Your game of candy apple ignorance may convince the pan-scrambled clown screwers in the cheap seats, but I smell the deception dripping off you like delicious marmalade. You'll have to do better than this if you really want to...
She sniffs.
Want to?
She sniffs again.
Did Kanaya make this dress?
Yes. Oh, look, an out. Yeah, you say. You and her are great friends. The best, in fact. You think she should message Kanaya right now to clear this up. You know, like a character witness?
I've witnessed your character plenty, and it's bland as they come.
That's certainly not the most... No, not the worst contemplative noise you've heard.
I may have misjudged you. If you tell anyone I said that, I'm gonna cut off your arms and use them to finger paint bulges on your face until you bleed to death.
Jeez. You decide that keeping this pointlessly mundane secret is definitely in your best interest. So does that mean you're free to go?
Not so fast. May have implies possibility, not certainty. Maybe Kanaya gave you this dress because she likes you, or maybe you pressured her into it circumstantially. Maybe you're a delightfully clueless and well-intentioned interloper from beyond the stars. Or maybe you were sent here as a sleeper agent to learn all our weaknesses so that the entities controlling you can sabotage our future.
Well, that just seems right on the nose right there.
In cases such as these, I find the best course of action is to leave the verdict up to chance.
She produces a double-headed coin with one side scratched out, and you immediately know where this is going.
The terms are simple. Heads, I release you from your bonds. Tails, and I release you from being alive.
Is she really about to take you out like a gangster who just betrayed their duality-themed mob boss? Before you can request a Saturday morning cartoon solution, she flips the coin into the air. Well, this is bad. This is bad, and it kind of makes you angry. This doesn't make sense. You didn't do anything, but here you are with a 50-50 chance of getting murked by a jovial gremlin anyway. Does she think this is normal? Your head is cleared enough that you can zap away if you really tried, but something about this murder lawyer is stuck in your craw. Her devotion to justice is obvious, but it's a twisted and brutal justice, streamlined for violence and painfully efficient in enabling exactly that. If this mock trial is anything to go by, this is the same system that requires insectoid eugenics robots to keep the peace, after all. There's so much wrong here, she doesn't even see it. Like, metaphorically see it. The coin is falling. Every rotation brings you closer to fate that, regardless of the outcome, wouldn't be fair. You decide to think about what should be fair. Ooh. Just like that, you're standing next to her. With a scream, you snatch her coin out of the air and hurl it full force through the window.
My coin!
Sorry, you shout, but she can't expect you to just accept the whims of chance when your life is on the line.
Why not?
Because that sucks. It's lame and dumb and really cliche. What is she, a comic book villain? Yeah, I think Two-Face was in the comics. So...
Am I supposed to know what that is?
You don't know? Troll culture seems to have a lot of really arbitrary similarities to human culture, and it's honestly very confusing. But that's besides the point. With a broad sweep of your arm, you gesture at her drawing of the honorary Tyrannosaurus or whatever, and ask her if he would think of what he would think of your little stunt right now.
The trial isn't for him. We act like it is, but everyone knows he's just a big, hangry monster.
Huh? Then who?
It's for the audience, obviously. By the time you make it to the stand, you're basically dead already.
Don't the accused get a chance to defend themselves?
Defend? Only the outrageously guilty would ever think to defend themselves in a court of law.
Wow, that's screwed up. What's the point of even having a trial then?
Besides the sheer pleasure of watching all the hope slowly drain from someone's eyes as they confront their immediately approaching and inevitably gruesome execution.
Yeah, besides that.
It's a warning to the seditious.
No, seditious is right.
It's a warning to the seditious of what happens when they cross the line.
And the line is, existing?
Yep.
The nonchalance of her answer underlines just how upsetting all this really is. You remember the law she recited? The one part in particular sticks out to you. Unclassifiable sanguination. Didn't Carcat try to commiserate with you about having mutant blood or something?
You know Carcat too? I keep waiting for him to fuss about team leaders, but he won't shut up about this new thing he calls a Dave.
Gosh. I still don't ship it, but people can ship whatever they want, and I know that it's canon, so I'll shut the hell up.
Everyone was so worked up about the game, and now they're just over it suddenly.
Yeah, that's your fault. Carcat would probably have a nuclear conniption if he knew you were about to say this, but you ask her if she's aware of his blood color?
Of course I'm aware of it. What, you think I'm blind?
Yes. Carcat's a mutant, right? If you remember correctly, that makes him guilty of the same crime you are. Her expression turns sour, and you tell this is something she spent a lot of time trying not to think about. Complicated feelings. Anyway, you figure she avoided summarily executing you because you're friends with her friends, so that she would probably avoid killing Carcat as well. And that's a good thing. Great, in fact. You cannot stress enough how awesome that is. Oh gosh, yes. Kerezi. Such a good ship. I miss it so much. I actually made a friend in art school who was a Homestuck, but then as soon as Kerezi got, axed, and that became, totally not plausibly canon anymore, she just bounced from the fandom like no one's business. I respect that action. Anyway. Maybe doesn't that strike her as a bit hypocritical, making exceptions for her friends? Does she think that everyone else who dies at court or gets cold in their own hives deserves what they get, just because she doesn't know them personally?
It doesn't matter what I think. This is just how things are. It sucks, but it would suck a lot worse to be killed for saying so. Then who would protect Carcat? Who would protect... I can't help everyone, Cherry Cheeks, but I can barely help my friends. Maybe if I stick to it long enough, I can change things from the inside. That's the best any of us can hope for.
Mind powers indeed, Terezi. Mind powers indeed. You guess that doesn't sound like the worst plan. In fact, it kind of reminds you of... Who? You feel a sadness well up in your heart so fast and heavy that it knocks you over into her, and without meaning you... Zap. Oh, your vision's swimming. We're back in the weird container. Again. But it's like it looks almost like a jail cell with all the bars and the light up there. Not a shipping container like I'm thinking. Where are we even? Why is everything blue? Baba dee baba die. Anyway. Your vision's swimming. Voices echo in your head, but you can't pick any of them out. You look around and something is watching you. Not maliciously. Not yet, just observing from a curious distance. Not that you can do anything about it while you're clutching your head and trying to put your memories together. You've been circling around this awful familiar feeling ever since you left Earth, drawn towards it like singularity, but the closer you get, the less it makes sense.
What the hell just happened? Did you kill me just now? Is this troll hell?
Troll hell? Do trolls not have an actual name for... Wait, she's here too?
Here seems like an ambitious description. It's more like an ambiguous nexus of metaphysical realities.
That's an awfully specific description. Has she been here before?
No, but I've tasted places like it in my dreams.
Great, even more shenanigans. You look around and try to get your bearings, but nothing seems to be in focus. It's all too low resolution? No, it just looks like someone got the posterize tool on a photograph, man, and set it to like maybe, I'm gonna say 24. 24 seems like a good resolution for it. Anyway, simultaneously too bright and too dark to make sense of.
You okay over there, Cherry Cheeks? Your blood smells really loud right now.
You wouldn't know how to react to that even if you weren't having a memory-induced thought seizure. The pieces are too far apart, but you can't quite put it together, but you remember. Friends? Bits of memory hit you, sudden flashes of joy, of violence, smiling faces, crying faces, bodies, plans. Hope that the world would be made into a better place. Where's Tizius? Show me Tizius!
What the heck are you mumbling about? If you're fried your think pan, at least let me in on it so I can participate.
You tell her what you can remember, which isn't much. Friends, sadness, dissatisfaction, people who were deeply unhappy with the state of Alternia and faced violence from all sides, just as your friends do today. Some of them wanted to change it from the inside, and you remember believing that they could. But you got the sense that a lot of time has passed between now and then, and it doesn't seem like Alternia has gotten much better. In fact, it may have gotten worse. It seems like whatever it was your friends tried to do, they failed. Yeah, well, they succeeded in some way. 'Cause, I don't know, it seems like people survive, like, I don't know, a lot better? I don't know. I'm trying to compare the two Alternias, and I don't know which is better and which is worse. I guess we need more hive swap to, like, figure that out, man. 'Cause, I don't know, it just seems like the 90s version of Alternia was really, really bad. Really bad. Mainly because I'm like, hey, the condescension isn't on this planet, but Trizza is way worse than Pfeffery, man. Pfeffery was just peace and love, and Trizza was like, I am the best, and you will die if you don't agree. Oh gosh, okay.
Of course they did.
What does she mean by that?
Even in the context of your nonsense time-traveling amnesiac cover story, it's not hard to believe. Compelling idiots have good ideas all the time. That doesn't change the fact that they're idiots. Which is why I'm gonna succeed where everyone else had their entrails ripped out by a swarm of drones and died like the scrubs they were. I am many things, Cherry Cheeks. An idiot isn't one of them. Hehehe.
She flashes a bright and pointed smile, filled with a confidence that you believe with every atom in your body. But you're pretty sure she's not the first person to make you feel that way. Idiots or not, the friends you used to have were just as sure of themselves as she is now. And what good did it do? Honestly, you doubt the intelligence of competence has much to do with it at all. You think about the drones you barely avoided at Carcat's Hive, and about your brief exposure to what this planet calls a criminal justice system. For as violent and unjust as things could be on Earth, at least there's some pretext that the system existed to serve the people. Here it's just murder. You aren't sure if that's a system that anyone can salvage. Her smile melts into a frown, and you really should ask what this troll's name is.
Heh. Terezi Pyrope.
Terezi doesn't sound particularly happy as she slumps against the debatably extant wall and slides down into a crouch. Her face is a mask of barely contained emotion.
I can tell why Carcat would like you. You're very depressing.
You chuckle and sit down at a respectable distance away from her. You definitely don't mean to be depressing, but you have a knack for digging up drama. The hazards of forging new friendships, you guess.
If Vriska saw us right now, she would derisively laugh herself into an aneurysm.
Terezi, I said Veriski. I'm gonna die in a pit. Terezi knows Vriska?
That's one way to put it. We were practically sisters before she broke the rules and ruined everything. How do you know her?
Oh, you know, you played some flarp, killed some kids, felt guilty about it, threw Vriska's mom into a volcano.
Wow, you've really gotten around. What's a mom?
Oh, yay, she did the mouth thing. Yay! You'd think that was just the saddest thing you ever heard get said if you didn't already know what a lucis was. Nice quote.
You killed her, Lucis? So she's... That explains why she's been messaging me.
Terezi's laughing. It doesn't sound like any laughter you've ever heard.
I can't believe it! Serket figures her stuff out just in time for me to have my own identity crisis. And I bet she's thinking everything's supposed to be fine between us now just because... Want to know a secret, Cherry Cheeks?
Might as well add another one to the pile, you say. Is it the one where she made you blind?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, okay, real secret time.
Never have, and I don't think I ever will.
Wow, that's bleak. You guess you're sorry?
It's not your fault. You haven't told me anything I didn't already know.
Her lips are trembling as she reaches behind her and pulls out a box of chalk, then removes a red piece. You think it's a weird time for artistic expression, but chomp. Oh, she's eating it. Oh gosh, I just got a horrible flashback to... Terezi is Susie. Susie is Terezi. Oh man. That's another cosplay I wish I could pull off. I mean, I got the height. I just need to, you know, bulk up a bit. Maybe consider some paint. But I don't think... I'm still not into the whole painting thing, because I'm like, geez. I don't want to smear paint all over surfaces. Even if I seal it, it's going to just be hell putting it on, taking it off. I'll never go gray, I don't think. Okay. Terezi offers you a piece. You don't want to be rude, but you also really don't want to eat chalk. She shrugs and crunches it like an unshelled lobster. You guess you have to take it in stride. The more important thing is that Terezi is inconsolably sad, which sucks because you're the only person in position to console her. Give her a distraction or give her a hug. Doesn't matter, we have to choose both. Hug. You don't know how to fix this. You don't know how to make Terezi feel better. The best you can think to do is put your arms around her. Despite the fact that you're a complete stranger who's basically just kidnapped her, she welcomes the embrace.
I hated her for what she did. Not to me, but to our friends. All but went to war over it. After our truce, we cut ties. My hope was that she would avoid hurting anyone else. But deep down, I knew I would have to kill her eventually. In the name of justice. She did terrible things, but so did I. We did some of them together. Why wasn't I culpable? Why did I blame her for something we did to each other?
You think it's a regrettably mutual... Okay, you think it's regrettably natural to blame the person in front of you when you get hurt, especially when the real problem is too big and esoteric to stab through the chest with a sword cane.
Vriska did what she did because she had to. So did I. We both deserved the revenge we wrought on each other. But we were all victims of the big picture. It made us what we are. Ensured we would do what we did. Every little injustice started there. And when we fight, whoever painted that picture smiles and laughs. Because they know they've already won. She sits up a little straighter and you feel your spine follow suit almost on its own. Screw that!
Terezi slips out of your arms and stands up, pulling you to your feet with her. Her entire demeanor has changed. She's practically vibrating with determination. Determination!
Take me to Vriska's hive. I'm assuming that's a thing you can do.
Oh yeah, that's a thing you can do. Your mind is still buzzing, but talking to Terezi has calmed that storm just enough for you to focus. As you take her hand, you spare one last look around this bizarre, impossible space. You still feel watched, but it's distant now. Maybe even approving? You have so many questions, but those will have to wait. Right now, you've got work to do. Zap. See? Vriska's taller. Now they're the same size. Before you even see where you landed, Terezi marches up to a very surprised Vriska and backs her up against the wall. She stops just a few feet away, looking up at the cerulean spider girl with anger on her face. Despite their difference in stature, Vriska is intimidated? You caught her off guard, and Terezi is unflinching. The room is completely silent. You see Terezi clenching her fist. She looks one wrong move away from unleashing hell. This isn't quite what you had in mind when you brought her here, and you really hope your new friends aren't about to fight each other. Something in the air changes. You aren't entirely sure what's happening, but something is definitely happening. And you figure it's just best to just cross your arms and pretend you don't exist. Terezi's posture softens. Her hands relax as she breathes a soft sigh. Vriska straightens up, letting her own tension dissipate. You guess you're feeling a little less tense yourself? Then Vriska cracks a hesitant smile. Terezi leans back. She's sniffing the air intensely, which feels like a good sign. Everyone's getting a little looser, a little more casual. Definitely an improvement. They both start cackling, slapping their knees like they've just heard the most hilarious knock-knock joke in history. You'd like to get in on the joke too, but you figure it'd probably be rude to ask. Yeah. And they hug? You're not exactly sure what just happened, but you figure hugging is a powerful platonic friend activity even in the worst of times. It's gotten you this far after all. Yeah, this is what this is. Just two gal pals hugging it out. Sweet of you. It's so sweet you could cry. When they separate, Terezi meanders over to a window overlooking the pit where Vriska's Lucis used to live.
So she's dead?
Oh yeah, I'm real broken up about it too. Vriska winks at you.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I don't remember Vriska's voice even though I just recorded it like 3 days ago. Terezi turns and leans up against the windowsill.
You have a lot to make up for.
That's why I've been messaging you. I want to apologize, okay?
I don't want your apology, Vriska. I have a lot to make up for, too.
There's definitely some kind of something going on in this room that you're completely oblivious to. You wonder what went down between these girls that they can't even talk about what they're talking about. It'll be interesting once we get to Team Charge, I'm just saying. What do you mean?
There's so much injustice in the world. Every drop of deliciously innocent and painfully extracted blood on this planet is just a paint for the fishy screw-ups at the top to play with. And the worst part is that we're complicit. We revel in it even. I reveled in it.
Terezi, are you?
Why would they make this violence good, so they had to make it... No, they could never make this violence good, so they had to make it fun. And I had so much fun hurting people. Who knows how long I would have gone liking that if it hadn't been for our weird invasive species of friend here.
Terezi wipes a tear from her cheek and smiles at you, and you feel a huge wave of relief. Friends with a former murder lawyer in training. You know how to pick 'em.
For once, Vriska, I want to revel in something good. I want them to feel the razor edge of their own justice. I want their blood to stain the dirt beneath my feet like the pathetic wiggling insects they are. But I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone.
You watch as Terezi takes in a measured breath. For just a moment, you can imagine her standing in a room full of determined people, just behind the person everyone else would call their leader, smiling a wicked smile. She's not the one who commands the stage, you think. She's the one who controls the spotlight. She's the one who knows what happens next.
I'm not sure what we are together anymore, Vriska. I've hated you. I've felt a lot of things. What I know is that we're dangerous, and fate seems determined to make us rivals. That almost sounds fun, doesn't it? We could fight for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. Each the scourge of the other until both of us winds up dead. They tell stories about us for a long time, but I don't want that to happen anymore. Do you? No!
You haven't known Vriska very long, but this is a side of her you've never seen. No doubt many people have. It's actually really awkward. You should probably go, but your prying curiosity and desire for interpersonal closure keeps you glued to the spot.
We had the right idea in the wrong circumstances. But this time, I think we can really do something together. So let's try this again. Vriska, will you be my scourge sister? Yeah, obviously. Good. Then let's get to work.
They share a look that you can't quite read, but you get the feeling that this was a resounding success. Scourge sisters unite! Yeah. Boom. Let's get the other ending. Quickly, before we run out of time. Give her a distraction. You heave a mournful sigh. Alternia is a meat grinder, fine-tuned to pulverize anyone who tries to gum up the works. Maybe there's something to be done, but you don't think either of you are gonna be the ones to do it.
Yeah. Why bother, right? She's probably doing just fine without me anyway.
When you look over to her, you see she's doing her very best to hide her tears. That's no good. You may be lost in the cynical ennui of political burnout, but that doesn't mean you can just sit by and watch your new pal descend into abject disarray. What you two need is a distraction. What you need is a clown. You grab Terezi's hand and think of the happiest, honkiest thoughts you can muster, and just like that, zap. No! Not Gamzee. Oh. Stop it with the miracles in my ears. Okay. You're right there in the living room with your dear friend Gamzee. What a sight for sore eyes is this jovial cut-up of a drug-addled juggalo. What the mother truckin'? No, what the truckin' mother truck? With comical slowness, he dive bombs away from you over his couch and into a pile of horns. A chaotic honk cacophony sends Gamzee into a chorus of screams. You elbow Terezi. Smell that? How could she possibly think about crushing impossibility of making the world a better place when this fellow over here is acting like such a fool? Her frown is unwavering as Gamzee clambers back up to his feet. That was a righteous mother truckin' miracle what you just gone up all and did in front of me. Got me scared honk-wise right into the horn pile, my brother. It's a right good thing I'm tripping the pie clown-tastic right now, or otherwise my pump biscuit might have flipped turnways hard enough to make me be all violent on a mother trucker. His smile is nothing if not cordially unhinged.
Hey, Gams.
Terezi? Well, screw me all situationally up. What it do, my sister?
It do too much.
She, man, that's some bad news to hear. Now that I'm looking up all up at you mother truckers, you seem pretty hellaciously burdened, like in the soul what we have. You agree that you do have souls, probably. That is the answer he's looking for, right?
If I have a soul, it's tar-tasting slime stuck on the bottom of a ground pusher covering.
You mean a shoe?
Whatever.
Well, I don't know what you two have scribbled down on your planners for tonight, but if it's the world what got you weary-eyed, methinks maybe you should be getting to have your think pans all up in some pie pans, my mans. That's not a bad idea. What better distraction from the dystopic nightmare of Alternia than the warm, comforting embrace of hallucinogenic drugs? Terezi seems momentarily unsure, like some sensible part of her is desperately begging her to do literally anything else. Screw it. She plops down on the couch with determination, sinking into it like a sack of disillusioned potatoes. That is directly the noise I like to hear. Gamzee slithers down next to her and puts an arm over Terezi's shoulder. I don't like... it's so weird, the ship. Any ship with Gamzee feels weird. Anyway, she tenses up and doesn't push him away. What about you, miracle themester? Do you want to be getting all in with this? He pats the seat next to him with a delightful grin. You think the same tug of reason Terezi felt, but you'll be danged if you pretend to have more sense than a lawyer. Besides, you'll have a hard time imagining anywhere you'd rather be in the arms of this fragrant clown. He puts his arm on your shoulders as you sit and try to make yourself comfortable. Now, ain't this just the coziest mother truckin' snuggle sesh there ever was? You see Terezi sniffing into an open, half-empty Fago bottle before taking a big swig. Pass me some of that wicked elixir, my sister. Gamzee takes his own demure sip, gargling as he sucks from the bottom. By the time he's passed it to you, you're pretty sure it's more backwash than Fago. Which is still more Fago than none, you guess. That is without a doubt the most vile combination of taste and viscosity you've ever put to your body. But hey, at least now you're not thinking about politics. As you toss the empty bottle to the ground, already lost in stupefied haze, you glance over at your new pal, Terezi. She doesn't look happy, but at least she doesn't look sad. Goal accomplished, you guess? Wasted. Oh no, she's got the underwear again. Jeez. That's always a bad time. Anyway, chum roll, please. Looks like we got the good one. Seeds of Revolution reunited Terezi with her long-lost sister. You never been more glad that you're not a fish. And we got to help Acquiesce. So yeah, looks like that's all we got for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Pesterquest. I look forward to going into the next one with you guys. See you all next time. Bye!
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron, just like the phenomenal Bleed Red, Alexander Madeline, and Uranium Coffee.